here with Stuart Wilders from ESC Fan TV. Check ESC Fan TV out. Great discussion channel on all things Eurovision. And Stuart is going to share his thoughts on Home by Kobi Marimes.
Kobi Marimi.
So, I've written something after that. Yeah, Marimi.
Kobi Marimi, yes. So he won the Israeli final. It was more of a discovery of a singer in Israel. He's like the voice of Israel, sort of equivalent. He's a fantastic singer. He's got a wonderful voice. It's so different, unique. So many different words you could use to describe his voice. The song is called Home. And you kind of have to believe it, or hear it to believe it. He will stand there. In the video, he's kind of in a tux, in a sort of black and white type video, and he just sings this kind of, there's a bit of a wail to his voice. It kind of goes up and down, a bit pitchy, but it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I'd probably go as far as to argue he's probably got the best voice of all the guys singing in Tel Aviv. And for a host nation to go from Toy to something so different as a ballad, but not just a standard ballad. This is a really kind of a real risk ballad. You know, if you were in the semis sending this, you'd be, okay, thinking to yourself, well, this is a bit of a risk, but they're in the final anyway. They're the host nation, and they're sending a song which could do really well or really badly. I suspect it'll do really well, and I suspect he will blow a lot of us away with his performance. So yeah, go and listen to it. Make your own mind up, but I think this could be a real standout year again for Israel.
Oh, great. Well, you said it would do well, and Israel actually won 2 years in a row back in the heyday. Things are a little bit different now. We have curses of winners the next year. Do you think that it could break the curse?
I don't think it will, but I think he has the ability to be top 3, top 5. It could be the one song which kind of nobody's expecting. I mean, host nations do really bad, don't they, of late?
Yeah, recently.
I can't think of a year. I mean, certainly think of Austria when they won with Conchita, and the year after, the Make Makes? They finished last with 0 points.
Did you see they did a video like behind the scenes, and they said, "We are the zeros of our time."
Yeah, exactly. I think only Sweden failed to avoid doing really badly as a host nation. So the omens are not great, but usually when the host nation sends a song, they don't want to win it again. So there's always in the back of their mind. I think Israel has just sent a song that they think could do really well. And I can sort of see it top 8 for me.
Do you think it's really strategic from Israel picking this song? I feel like it kind of is a great representation of Israel. Like I think coming home and all that, I think people, especially the Israeli diaspora, the Jewish diaspora, will watch this from afar and go, oh, it's kind of like a nice love song to Israel in a way.
Yeah, it is. It's I'm coming home is the line within the song, and take that however way you want. But if you're an Israeli, the Eurovision is coming home, so it resonates, and I think it's beautiful. I really do. It's one of my favorite songs of this year. Regardless of how it does, it's a really beautiful song, and he's a very, very good singer.
Winning countries always get a placement in the final early. How does that work out? Do they get to choose where they perform?
Yeah, they just get to choose which number they want to be. So they could be first, they could be last, they could be 15th. I think Israel have chosen 14th.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a previous winner. I don't know which year. I do know which year. It was Denmark with Only Teardrops won from 14th place. Was the last time someone's won from 14th, but it's not generally a lucky number. So they've selected that number. No idea why.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people talk about the best number to be is the first song after like the commercial break kind of part, which I think is 16th or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So here's a theory for you. The best number to be is any number if you have a decent song.
Yes, exactly.
So I always think if you if you're worried about where you're going to position, left side of the board, right side of the board, sorry, first half of the evening, second half of the evening, if you're really that bothered, it means your song ain't great.
Yeah.
You know, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. So you're not going to do very well anyway.
I think someone once said that every position has one except one number. So that's pretty good odds. And also, I think it's funny at the end of the semifinals when they pull out the thing saying semifinal 1 and semifinal 2, everyone gets excited over getting semifinal 2, and it's like,
it doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. It matters if you've got an average song.
Yeah, you must be feeling threatened or something.
But you'll get found out in the end anyway.
Yeah.
And as we find as the UK, you know, we only get points from you guys, from Israel and from Malta generally. So we have to go some to get any points from everywhere else. Even Ireland, we rarely get points from these days. So your song has to be spectacular. If your song isn't spectacular, and you're a UK that's guaranteed to be in the final, then it doesn't matter where you're going to start, because you're always going to end up down the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Thanks so much, Stuart.
Here's Playhouse.
I'm here with Elysse Tanner, showing composer and musicologist. And we're going to be looking at, well, Elysse is going to be breaking down for us the song Home by Kobi Marimi. And it's from Israel, the hosting country. So this will automatically make it to the final.
Okay.
What do you think of Home?
All right. So we got a male singer, and we are in English, one language, this song. Our vocal range is A-flat-2 to A-flat-4, rather. So that's 2 octaves. And we have a key change in this piece. It's from B-flat major to C-sharp major, which is more than a semitone. I think that seems to be semitone seems to be a fairly safe key change. It's only just a smidge. This one actually jumps up a fair bit, so that was cool. It was very different for the key changes that we've looked at so far. Our time signature is 4/4, and our beats per minute are set at 110, which means allegretto, which means by, like, quoting from Wikipedia, by the mid-19th century it meant moderately fast. So it means moderately fast-ish, and it's usually between 112 and 120 beats per minute, which is, as we all know, our standard pop song sort of range. We have 5 chords in this song. Chord 1, which is a B-flat major. Chord 2, C-sharp, not C-sharp, just C minor. Chord 4, which is E-flat major. Chord 5, F major. And chord 6, G minor. And then when we get to the key change, it's those chords 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 again, but in the new key. So I'm not going to tell you what those chords are because I didn't figure it out, because I didn't need to. In terms of instruments, we have our classic vocals, our piano, gospel choir style sort of backing vocals, which is kind of cool, some strings and some drums. So not too many instruments, but enough to sort of build up the suspense as we go along. And then in terms of song structure, we have our intro for 4 bars, verse 1 for 16 bars, a chorus for 12 bars, verse 2 for 8 bars, so half the size, a chorus for 10 bars, so slightly less than usual. But that is because it is without the break of the 2-bar instrumental sort of thing. That's the reason it's slightly less. Then we've got a bridge for 8 bars and a chorus for 21 bars, which has an extended sort of ending, and the key change, I think, is at the start of that. So that's the reason that goes for so much longer than the previous 2 choruses. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, that's our song structure. I feel like I'm speeding through this. I don't know if time is just going fast because I'm enjoying talking about it, or if like I'm actually going faster than usual. So apologies, I think.
It's all right. So with this song, I guess it's about coming home. I'm thinking maybe it has a similar message to Albania. But in a little bit
Albania.
different of a sense. I feel like this one's more about like, you know, just coming back home.
I feel like this one
Well,
is a little happier.
yeah, totally.
We're in a major key for starters, so that usually would like imply a more happier sort of sound. Whereas Albania was in D sharp minor, so it's like a kind of a sadder tone.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like Albania was a little bit more focusing on the sadness of not being able to fit in where you were, and therefore needing to go back home. Whereas this one, it's like, no, I'm home. I am home.
Yeah.
Or I'm happy to come home. Like, it's not so much a I need to go home. It's like, you know, I can go home. But lyrically, like, it kind of does also sound like he's run away to sort of find himself in another person or something. And now that he has found himself, he can come home. So, like, a little bit of similarities, perhaps, but it was less about being forced to come home, perhaps. I like the idea of identity as the central message. And coming from a Christian point of view, because I am a Christian, I go to church and all that jazz, I could potentially see like the idea of finding your identity in God and using that as like, oh, well, I am someone. I matter. And I'm going to come home because I know who I am now because my identity is in God. And considering Israel, for Israel, the national religion, or like the majority of the religion in Israel is Jewish or Judaism, that like perhaps there's some potential in that theory. But you know, I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong, apparently. So yeah, like some similarities. I think the outlook though is much happier. There's a much more positive vibe associated with going home. Whereas Albania was like, I guess I got to go home. Otherwise, what do I have to live for? Very different, like, message-wise.
You know, they say that there's more Israelis in the United States than there are in Israel.
Why? Actually, don't. Never mind. I figured that out as soon as I asked. Yeah, cool. Good on them. Stay in the US. Ignore Donald Trump.
So maybe, but maybe this is a good song for people to be like, okay, well, you know, Israel is home. I'm sure a lot of people go there just to visit and be like, you know, now I'm back home. I feel like this is some kind of in conjunction with the tourism board or something.
Like, you'll always be welcome home.
Yeah, it's a really good song to sing for. It's fitting for it being in Israel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's a really, I really did enjoy this song. And I know they say that a lot, but I enjoyed a lot of the songs that I've been looking at. So, you know.
That's good. It's better than disliking most of the songs.
Oh, if I dislike them, you'd know. Trust me. I'd be like, what did I sign up for? What have I done this for? What am I doing? Why? Yeah.
What do you think of him? He did a bit where he belted, and on the studio version, to me, it sounded a little on the verge of like breaking up. Like, do you know what I mean? That part.
No, I don't know what you mean.
It was right at the end, but I think he kind of sounded like a high note, and it just sounded like nodules or something to me. Like I felt like his vocals were a little damaging on that, like maybe even shouting.
As in too much for him?
Yeah.
Okay, like I see what you mean. It might just be a case of that's the one outlier really high note. And it's a little bit out of his vocal range, but he can still hit it. It's one of those ones where, like, if I was singing it, I'd be like, okay, there's a 50% chance I'm going to hit this note. Like, I can hit it sometimes, but I just got to go with it, because if I don't go with it, if I don't go confidently, I stand no chance. So that's the sort of like sound I feel like he's given. It's like I'm just on the edge of my vocal range and I hope this is right sort of vibe. So like I wouldn't be surprised if in the live performance he did not go that high as a result.
Would you be okay with something like that?
I think that extended ending is really, like, it's really powerful for that song. If you're not going to do that, with the higher notes, you don't really need it in the live performance because it brings it home, for lack of a better word, pun unintended. And so I don't know. I think maybe, I don't know. I'd have to see it at the time and see how I felt, because I don't know. I just think that tied together that end of the song really, really effectively. But if he misses it, then what? Like, why bother? Is it worth the risk, I guess, is the question.
Or, third choice, you could go for it and other issues.
Yeah, feeling the nail or not. Yeah, so maybe if he doesn't nail it, like, I'd be disappointed. But if he did nail it, then I'd be like, yes, you did it. Go you, like, all the vibes.
So
what did you think of the start of the song?
Start of the song,
when it's like just vocals, sort of at the start.
This one took me a while to get into it, I must say.
Yeah.
No, I can't think this one.
See how it feels. That's not why I asked you. I have something I want to say. Because it starts off just like vocals. It's like before it sort of like gets into the actual song, and that gave me a real like reminiscent vibe of Gregorian chants. Do you know what a Gregorian chant is? Yes. Well, yeah, like I think that it was just a very, like, you had a lot of the reverb happening. It's a very it wasn't not melodic, but it was also not like it wasn't trying to be like, here's a hook. It was more of a, here's a chant, here's a something to sort of listen to it sounds like a Gregorian chant. Like, I don't know how else to describe that. Like, something which everyone could sort of get involved with, and it's not too, here's this way or here's that way. And Gregorian chants were designed to sort of go back to worshipping God in a way that wasn't suggestive or was pure in terms of the way in which they did it. Like, it was, here is the way that we are going to glorify God, but we're not going to suggest you should do it. Like, we're not going to try and influence you with the music. We're just trying to be like really straightforward with it, I think was the vibe that was happening with Gregorian chants. And so that opening bit, like every time I've listened to it, I've been like, oh, it's a Gregorian chant. Like, wait, no, it's not. That's the wrong playlist, Elysse. So it had a bit of that sort of vibe at the start, and then it goes into this really, really beautiful song. So that's why I asked you what you should thought at the start.
So how do you think he'll do that live? Do you think it's just a lot of reverb in the mic?
Yeah. If he does it live, it's just going to be reverb mic, a cappella, and then hopefully the reverb holds before the music comes in. So
I'm very curious to see how that is transferred then.
Yeah.
So this music video, what did you think of it?
I think that this was a really interesting music video. This is the second black and white video of our set today. But I also think what stood out for me was that this is how you use light and shoot the face as well. So we've had a few videos where they've used light as a key feature, or at least one video. And then we've had a few videos where they feature heavily the faces, but they didn't quite live up to the expectations. And this has done a really good job of doing both. They've got light playing at the start and through the middle, and overlays happening to sort of create interest. And they've got different angles of the same guy singing and overlaid to make it look like there's multiple of him. And so I thought that was a really cool way to sort of shoot the video. It was artsy and it was interesting. And it wasn't artsy just for the sake of being artsy. It sort of like had that really choral sort of vibe going, and since you introduced this gospel choir sound into it later, like I think that worked, and that's that can be a hard sell for me, because if you're dubbing with different faces, different voices, sometimes I'll go either way. But because the backing footage is not like facing the camera, it's like spanning out, and then like he's also there before the gospel choir comes in. I think it worked pretty well. Yeah, I quite liked that you had the light sort of shining over him in a couple of the like door opening sort of scenes, and that makes it sort of like changed the way in which the lighting of the video acted as well, because you had that overlay. And I thought the black and white video worked really well as well. I don't know how that'll translate to staging, but one can only find out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Which one do you think was more effective with the black and white, Armenia or Israel?
Like, I think they both had different strengths, but at the end of the day, I think I preferred Israel's.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, great. Cool. Well, we're done with Israel then. We'll move on.
Yes.
And we're actually done with that. So thanks, Elysse.
No worries.
Point fine. Good message. Coming home is always a good message.
Yeah,
Still
another
fit in,
message.
every context. But I'm quite confused when he says I am someone. Does it mean I'm someone different, or because I am someone? It doesn't make it much sense to me.
Maybe he's saying that he has identity when he comes back home.
So he goes to find, an identity for him.
Yeah, like maybe he loses himself, and then when he goes back home, he's like, "Oh, I know who I am. I remember who I am when I'm home."
Oh, sweet.
That's what I took from it.
Yeah, because I don't understand. So.
What did you think of the actual song?
Yeah, very, a kind of ballad at the beginning, but it kind of progressed towards the end, and he's very emotional, even his facial expression in its singing as well. So yeah, very, very interesting, and well, man, it's always good to be the hosting country and your song is coming home, and it's gonna. The audience is still gonna support you more, when you do that. So
There's more people of Israeli descent in America than there are in Israel. So, say you're an Israeli living in America and you heard this song, would it make you be like, oh, makes me
you want to
proud
book a
to be
flight.
Israeli? Yeah, book a flight home. I feel like it's kind of a promotional campaign.
Yeah, why not, man?
Like you'll see they'll use this on TV.
Yeah, man. So airlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, should pick it up. Yeah.
Cool.
Who will make the cut?